This is your spoiler warning for One Piece chapter 1147. Before I started, I thought it was cool that this guy off in the corner is holding Who's mask. Who's is like MF Doom, bro. He's got to have his mask. Right off the bat, we see in a flashback that Saul not only knows the God's Knights, but he also knows about their immortality. Saul knowing about the God's Knights I don't think is that strange because he's a vice admiral and I'm assuming he's been with the Marines for a pretty long time. So I would think maybe being that high up in the Marine system would probably put you closer to the God's Knights than anyone else. Him knowing about their immortality is interesting. I wonder if this also implies maybe he's seen them do battle or maybe he's been in battle with them. I also feel like it would have been nice to see Saul do this in real time rather than in a flashback. It kind of feels like an afterthought, but I don't know. So all the Straw Hats are captured, and Summers wants to get rid of them, but killing him doesn't want to invoke the wrath of any emperors. This shows that the God's Knights, like the very top, like they're right under the Gorosei. Even they, as representatives of the world government, don't want to cross paths with the emperors. Like they would rather avoid it if they could. Crossing paths with an emperor probably wasn't part of their little kidnapping scheme, so they would rather just keep it straight to the kidnapping. Also, Brook may know Gunko. I'm not sure if he recognizes Gunko or maybe recognizes something about her. Maybe he's seen Gunko at one of his shows. So Gunko finally recognizes Brook, even though she didn't recognize him in the last chapter, and immediately asks him to make music for her. Now, we've seen her before with the headphones on listening to the New World song, which is the song done by Brook. And she clearly loves that song, right? She asks Brook to exclusively make music for her, and I love this moment with Brook here. I would sooner embrace death than live without honor. Coming from a skeleton, that is a bar. I find this scene right here interesting. She kicks Brook and like winces in pain. I wonder what that's from. So the main bulk of this chapter is Summers revealing what the God's Knights are doing here on Elbaf. And all over we see the chaos and the ruin that the Holy Knights are bringing to Elbaf. A lot of people think that Angie, I think that's how you pronounce her name, it's A-N-G-E. A lot of people already think that she's a traitor, and I think this scene here will kind of like continue to spread those type of theories around. Although to me, it doesn't really feel like she's betraying, it really feels like she's kind of being held up at point. You know what I mean? Like he's saying, hey, like you do this or I'm taking you out. Also, I don't think giving up the names of the children is going to do any more damage than what the Holy Knights have already done. We pick up with the kids, and I love this scene with Colin trying to play tough, but as soon as he's faced with like any sort of opposition, he immediately turns into Courage the Cowardly Dog. So Dory and Bragi were also en route, but they ended up getting attacked by the nightmare versions of their wives or the children's mothers. Because Killing Him's ability is to put people to sleep and to pull out things that they dream of, or their nightmares in this case, and some of the children are that afraid of their mothers that their mothers are their worst fear. Hey, if your mama grabs that belt, you might be a little scared too, I'm not gonna lie. Like even the giants are afraid of their own wives. And because they can't bring themselves to attack even the nightmare versions of their wives, their ship ends up going down. Not sure how I feel about that because like they are dream nightmare versions of their wives, so I feel like that shouldn't really have been an issue, but I'ma let it cook for now. So Summers puts Mountain Beard on the spot while giving them their biggest ultimatum. Basically telling Mountain Beard, hey, you're gonna work for us or the children are gonna get it. We get introduced to all of the kids here, which I hope they serve more purpose than the like mafia in Wano, like Hyogoro's little mafia army, whatever, because they got title cards too, and they ended up serving like no purpose. If you're gonna take panel time to give these kids names and show their personalities and stuff like that, I feel like they have to do something. Someone other than Colin obviously has to do something. So this is when Summers lays everything out on the table. Summers tells them that they come from a history of warriors, savages, uneducated people who do not care about history, the past, nor the future. And you having all of these books is an affront to your own culture. Destroy all of the books, all of the text, pages, whatever is left from O'Hara. Destroy every piece of education you have and swear allegiance to be the world government's mercenaries, or your children will suffer the consequences. You see, like, I can't believe people said that Angie was a traitor. She's speaking up for the preservation of education and books and schools and everything that Elbaf now stands for. I love the part where she says that all of this information is not only for Elbaf, it's for everyone in the world to learn and know. Everyone should know about what you all are doing. And both Scopper and Robin immediately jump into action. It's kind of interesting when you think about it, because they're both jumping into action to preserve the future in some form. Scopper jumping into action to save his son, of course, his legacy. And Robin jumping into action to preserve the past for future generations.